The following is an audio version of a post from the Living in the Past website. For more Gen X and related content, visit and subscribe to my newsletter at livinginthepast.substack.com. That's livinginthepast.substack.com. Thanks.
Older and wiser? Perhaps. Or maybe it was just the fashion that aged us. Why did people in the past look older? Did people in the past look older? They did. Apples to apples, age to age, a direct and equal comparison between two people from different eras reveals that indeed our predecessors looked much more long in the tooth than we do now, fortunately. Was it the non-4K resolution of older pictures and videos? Was it the black and white newsreel type footage that in and of itself invoked feelings of age and maturity? Was it the dearth of pixels, clarity, or AI filters that made 20-year-olds, even in their youthful glory, look a minimum of 10 years older than they really were? Whatever it was, people back then looked older. And with back then, I mean as recently as the 1970s and the 1980s. Something happened in the 1990s, and inexplicably, people started to look closer to their biological age, thankfully. And not sure why, but perhaps we'll investigate that another time. I used to watch TV shows in the 70s when I was a kid, and of course, everyone looked old. When you're a child, anyone older than 10 is ancient. But now, looking back at those same vintage TV shows, the actors still look old, even now that I'm older than they were at the time. The question is, why? What reason can be given for the difference in age and appearances in previous eras? There's an argument to be made that we all look or looked the same, regardless of era, and it's the accoutrements of the modern age that help us maintain our youthful appearances. There is certainly a more accepting culture where Botox, fillers, plastic surgery, and body enhancements are concerned. It's nothing to hear of folks discussing their latest appointment with their esthetician, plastic surgeon, or whomever. Not to mention fashion sense. It's probably agreed that bouffant hair and flared jeans are less than flattering on most. Similarly, peacock blue eyeshadow and shiny blush can age a woman, you know? In an age when sexism and ageism ran rampant, you can be sure that even though models of the time looked older, they weren't. No way was anyone over the age of 25 going to grace the covers of magazines, guaranteed. Yet, in spite of this fact, there was an aura of maturity that extended beyond the chronological age of those in pictures that was not due solely to makeup and hairstyles. Clothing may make the man or woman, but it can't make them older. So what did? Some possibilities. There's been much said about what has been the cause of this strange phenomenon, and depending on whom you believe, the answers are varied. Let's consider a few, shall we? So let's see. Number 1, life was harder and more stressful. Indeed, this could very much be true. Think about it. Adults worked right out of school or became part of the adult set following graduation post-haste, with marriage and babies following convocation. Raising kids while quite young oneself could age even the most patient and mature young adult. Add to this the pressure on men to, quote-unquote, get a good job and support the family, and women to, quote-unquote, be a good housewife and take care of the kids, and it's not surprising that both men and women were unhappy. Defined gender roles that gave way to more freedom in later years did not yet exist. Unhappiness breeds frown lines, wrinkles, and a shorter lifespan altogether. Number 2, fashion and beauty trends added to people's ages. No one can deny that bouffant hairstyles and comb-overs on teenagers weren't flattering. Just take a look at some of the high school photos from previous times. As well, shiny makeup, near neon eyeshadow, sparkles, glitter, and the like age women. Believe me, for men, mustaches when one's barely out of puberty and greased down, quote-unquote manly hair adds years if not decades onto young men. Of course, the styles of various eras shouted, "I'm old," to anyone who casts an eye upon a 20-something dude in a full-on suit doing everyday errands and not attending a special occasion. Women wore heels and skirts, much more than they do now, and added to the rigid hairstyles of some eras, it's no wonder that guesstimates of ages trended up, not down. Number 3. Health and lifestyle was not always a priority. The age of working out regularly, running or jogging, Pilates, yoga, and all of the different ways that we try to keep ourselves in shape today, these habits and the general focus on the physical body's health and wellness didn't exist in previous times. While it seems normal and in some cases expected that we make an effort to be healthy, eat well, and live long, priorities in other eras were different. Perhaps for some of the reasons noted previously, i.e. stressful life challenges, including work, child rearing, and generally narrow expectations of what one should be doing. The combination of both of these realities likely added to the aging process, both internally and externally, hence the older-looking people of times past. And on the topic of health and lifestyle, sunscreen didn't exist, and the fear of sun damage to one's skin leading to serious health problems was never a consideration. Number 4. The digital factor. For the first time in history, we have the ability to drastically change the way our likeness is perceived due to advances in technology and AI. Don't like the wideness of your face? Slim it down a bit with your favorite photo app. Forget to apply lipstick for that family picture? Add it later when editing, cropping, tuning, and fixing up said picture before sending it to everyone involved. There are even apps for the fearless bunch who want to know what they're going to look like in old age. Similarly, you can go back in time to your happiest childhood age with yet just another app. This fact alone gives us the literal tools to de-age ourselves on a whim, then subsequently share across social media platforms with abandon. The folks of the future will look us up and marvel at how young people from the past looked, especially in comparison with those from older, less technologically advanced times, won't they? Number 5. 50 is the new 40, etc. Are we aging backwards? Not quite, though the implied maturity and historical health issues that once attached themselves to certain ages are diminishing. And that's a good thing, right? When most of us Gen Xers were kids, 50 was old, really old. Now, granted, in spite of, or maybe because of, our now advanced ages, 50 is the new 40. Apparently, 70 is the new 60, and so on, and so on, and so on. For this reason, could it be that our mental perceptions of age today are filtering through our minds when looking at old pictures and videos? Are we attributing 21st century standards of what certain ages should look like to 20th century imagery? Likely, but not completely. For the reasons mentioned above, there are a combination of factors that lead us to believe that we're more youthful looking than our unfortunate predecessors. So, did people used to look older back in the day? They did. But there are many, many, many reasons why. Hey folks, if you're only listening to the audio version of this post, I'd encourage you to visit this corresponding post on my Substack, which is livinginthepast.substack.com. There you will see the various images of stars from back in the day and their ages at the time. And believe me, it's truly something. You will not believe how old some of these stars were during their heyday. As well, there's pictures from high school yearbooks from the past that really call into question how and why people really did look so much older than they were at the time. Check it out.